Welcome to the Food Connection with Tim and Stan. Today we are going to cook plov, traditional dish of Uzbekistan. It's tasty and it's simple to make. Today our ingredients are rice. I preferred Uncle Ben's original. It works out very well. Don't get me wrong, I tried so many of them. This is the one of the best that is actually works out just great. Carrots, I would like to have them whole because they hold on the juice inside and they're fresh. Garbanzo beans, a lot of people using them in our country. In Uzbekistan, a lot of people using them, but if you don't have it, you don't have to have it. It's optional. Few garlics, it's also as optional, but if you want to have it, go ahead. I mean, it tastes really, really good. Onion, just only one. I prefer to have one large one or two small ones. It's preference, whatever you have in your kitchen. The most important thing you're going to see is olive oil. It's got to have to be 100% because it's sometimes, and it is going to say it's good for cooking. And also the beef. And it's basically, it is so simple because you're going to have to use everything by the 2 pounds. You're going to have 2 pounds of carrots, 2 pounds of meat, and 2 pounds of rice. And I tell you the truth, the worst things in this cooking is a preparation. You prepare your food and then all you have to do is just, put them in the pot and make it work. So the very first thing, preparation for me is a meat. What I will do is, basic thing, and the reason why I like this is because it has a couple bones, which is great. It works out very well. So what I do is just cut in. That's the pieces right here. What I'm gonna prep, that's all you're gonna need, is the onion. So what I will do with the onion, it doesn't really matter. It could be sweet onion or it could be just easy, cheap onion from Aldi or from Meyer. It doesn't really matter, but what I will do is we're gonna cut it, fill it off, at least one layer. And we don't have to cut them in the very small pieces. We don't. What we do is all right, the onion is ready. So what we're going to do is prepare ourselves a carrot. All you have to do is using the potato peeler to take the skin off. Okay, I'm done with peeling the carrots. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut the ends off it to make it cleaner. And what we're going to do next, it does the carrots and everything else. So what I do is, basic thing. Of course, I don't want to cut my fingers, which is I've done them before, and yeah, it's not real.
Not a pleasant.
Oh no! That's definitely not a pleasant. If many of you have a different tool, might as well use it. That doesn't cut your fingers. The pieces that I want to show it to you, it's gotta have to be as big as this. I mean, to be honest with you. Stan, would you please zoom in so that way they see what I'm talking about? It doesn't need to be too small because if you cut it too small, it will become mash. With this
magic tool.
With this magic tool, I have no idea what I did. I accidentally cut my finger. Yeah. And this is the carrots that I was talking about. It's got to be this size, as I said, so they won't fall apart. And and actually, which is a good thing, you can buy the same you know, carrots already pre-cut like that in the Meyer or any other stores in the bags. But I don't really like them because they don't hold any taste. Garbanzo beans, you can actually open the can. Of course, I pre-did it. And what we do is we use a strainer. And for 2 pounds of rice and 2 pounds of, you know, carrots and 2 pounds of meat, I usually use a half of that. So the other half can go in a salad or any other thing that you might want to use it. So we wash it off, all this stuff, and let it dry a little bit. So that way it's going to go out, and we're looking at no raisin, California raisin, which just tastes good, sweet. So what we do, we'll wash them too and make sure everything is out. Just a little bit, let it get soaked. So it's ready to rock and roll on this. So we already have a ground cumin seed, because people sometimes buy it in the store they're whole, not ground. Well, we usually use them as a crush them with our hands, with anything else, just crush them. This time you can buy a ground cumin seed, cumin powder, which is actually looks just like that. And as you can see it smells as awesome. I wish that smells can go through the camera, so that way you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we're preparing everything right by the pot. All our ingredients. Rice, we're gonna leave for a little bit later, for, you know, so that way, you know, it will be, when it's ready, we're gonna wash the rice. But at this moment, we'll just let it stew. We're gonna use olive oil. Yeah, use olive oil. I'm using about half a bottle. This is basically, I would say, 1 gallon. I'm plus minus half a quart, whatever, but this is a 1 gallon. So for this size, I'm using half a bottle of olive oil. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is on a hot stove. And I'm telling you the reason, I can tell you the reason in a minute, as soon as I finish pouring. Okay, there we go, half. So we're gonna put it on the side. So let it heat up. The reason why we want to heat up, it's, and actually you can do that, you know, round and around the edges and everything else. So what it does is we will preheat the oil up to the basic temperature. What are you pouring? Half of a bottle, so olive oil. So now what we're going to do is wait until it heats up. And the only way we're going to know that it really heats up is, сюда, пожалуйста, покажи, is we're going to throw a few pieces of onion into it. When they're going to turn almost black, we're going to take them out, and that means the oil is actually ready to throw the meat in it. As meat is already done and ready to put them in the pot. Okay, when you're seeing it, everything is coming out, I mean, you can see a little bit of steam coming out. This is the onion right on the sides and everything else. As you can see, it's like a charcoal color and white in the middle, but it's okay. But you can see the oil, in the oil itself, it's already preheated, because you can see that, you know, white clouds coming out of it. So now, carefully, I would say carefully, put some, okay. So we did a little bit dangerous stuff. We tossed the meat, especially into the really hot oil. For the reason is, so that meat will not gonna lose its juice. What it's gonna do is, it will create that burning coat around the meat. Caramelize, exactly. It will caramelize and will leave the juice inside. They want to keep it that way.
Потом поставим.
Okay.
Ну говори, говори.
So it's getting kind of ready. It's almost getting there. So we're gonna wait for about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. See what really is going on. And see how looking good it is. And what it is it doesn't produce any. You know, if you do that in the cold oil, you will see that big, you know, bubbles and everything else start coming out of it. That means your water then in juice out of the meat is coming out and steaming it all out. And as far as you see, I mean, I'm pressing it. It's an oil. So your meat is in the oil, and it's actually what it does is, this is correct. It start getting this color, and we'll try to make on every single, you know, in every single way. I mean, honestly, just right here. Okay. Cameraman. No, просто, by just looking at the picture, I just want to show you how it's really the meat does look like. Look, it says one piece, and it's make sure it's soft. It's not dry, it's not overcooked or anything else like that. So now the next turn is put some onion. Put the camera down. Put some onion and start doing the mixture. The onion doesn't have to be burned. Make sure it's not burned. It's just going to be a little bit caramelized as well. We'll try to make the same color as the meat. So it might going to take a few minutes to do so. And after that, the next step, we're just going to put a carrot on in. And начинать? Okay, so as you can see, our carrots are caramelized lightly and looks beautiful. Nothing burned. Nice tasty color. So what we do next is we'll put the carrots in. Those are the same 2 pounds of each. Don't forget, you can do 1 pound to 1 pound and 1 pound, or you can do 2 pounds of each, or you can do 5 pounds of each. It's up to you, in the matter of how many people. With this 2 pounds of each, I can easily feed about up to 10 people. And, you know, they will love it if you do it with your own heart. I mean, with preparation and everything else. And that's how it looks like. All we do is we want to make sure our carrot, it's not burned, but it's bending. So while you bend, it breaks, right? So what we're going to try to do is making sure when we're bending our carrot, it's not breaking. What it does is just actually bending, so it makes it soft. So while we're tossing in our carrots, might as well make sure we get the hot water ready. The reason why... How much hot water is, I don't know, I got full, you know. So the reason why we're doing the hot water adding to this is just because what it is hot. If you put a cold water in it, what you're going to be able to do is a soup. By the time the hot water will boil, you're making a soup. You're not making a juice. So what we're doing, we're making a juice out of it. That's why we just pour in the hot water and it's ready, and it does not do any harm to anything. Any of the food. I mean, meat, carrots, onions. So that's what you do, and that's how beautiful it's actually, at this moment, that's how beautiful it's actually looks like. I mean, don't you try, I mean, just making sure I want to show it to you so that way you see what I'm talking about. It breaks, but it's soft. Ow. It is soft, and it's hot. So don't put your fingers in there like I did. But it's ready. I mean, you can see the coloring. It's very beautiful. Your caramelized meat is already lose that, you know, the color. And what it does is it's mixing. So it is basically, what I'm saying is, it's ready to pour some water in it. Everybody questioning why? Well, let me tell you. we are making a juice for the rice. So that's what we do.
In Uzbekistanian language, it's called zirvak.
So what we do is, right, Stan, absolutely right. People call it in different ways. So what I do with the fire, somebody has a gas stove, somebody has an electric range. It's up to you guys. I mean, whatever you have in your kitchen, more useful, don't worry about it. You see how big bubbles are? So I'm playing with the bubbles. That's what I used to do when I first time got this range. I had to play with the bubbles. So I'm doing one step below medium and see how the bubbles looks like it. And if it's going to be too much, I'm going to be lowering a little bit, because right now by creating a juice, I don't need this bubbling, because what's going to happen is all the water will steam it out and all that's going to be left is just overcooked everything. So we're going to add some little bit more water to it. It's basically what I do is I want to make sure when I add water, I will cover the whole thing, meat, carrots, and everything needs to be covered with the water. Don't pour too much. Just pour maybe, I would say, somewhere about half an inch, maybe an inch over it. It depends how long you want. Which is basically think in Uzbekistan, if we're creating, let's say, plov for the hundreds of people, people started doing this early in the morning and finish it up by the night, right by the dinner and when it's supposed to be ready. If people doing just for the home, some people using this method of boiling, so we're gonna have to lower just a little bit, just an inch to number 4. So that's what it's supposed to be. So remember, the way you see in the bubbles right now, that's what you want. So what I basically will do is, just having a little Sharpie, and right here, by the way of looking at bubbles, right here I will do the nudge, and I will tell you later why, and I'll explain it to you, so that way it will be a lot easier for you to learn about your range, what it actually can do, so you will not undercook or you will not burn everything out. So now the next step, what I do is, we already create the bubbles. By the way it look like it, that's what I want. And we already marked it. So what I do is, I put the California raisins in them. Does anybody remember that California raisins advertisement? It was funny as you can even imagine. So now, garbanzo beans, it's already strained, dry, a little bit dry. There's no garbanzo beans juice, so everything is clean. It's already washed off. That's what I'm going to put it in. And the major part of all this is, it smells so awesome. What I will do is tablespoon, not a teaspoon, tablespoon. Make sure it doesn't have no hill on it, just a little flat tablespoon of ground cumin seed right on top of it. And what we do is we make a little stir. We keep everything on top of it. Everything on top of it. And we'll wait. I would say right now I would basically will wait for about an hour to cook well. And now what we have after about an hour, as you can see how beautiful it is. I mean, honestly, if the way you just seen it is just so gorgeous. Water is almost gone. You will see the top. When it's ready, you basically will see the top of, let's say, garbanzo beans, a little bit of carrots, a couple of side of meats. I mean, look at the raisins. It puffed up, it get some water in it, and right now, if you can taste it, it tastes a little bit of sweetness. That's what you really want. Now it's the time to have a salt added in. So basically what you look at it, I'm using
So what we do is add it on.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about over salting. because that's what you want to really do. So y'all mixed up a little bit and see how beautiful it is. I mean, honestly. As you can see, you have a little bit of a juice, a little bit of everything. I mean, it's really look at the golden color.
Yummy looking.
And it's a yummy looking, and it's basically smell is so good. I mean, unbelievably good smell that it's honestly, it's just like it gives us so much aroma around the house. It is unbelievable. So what we do is I'm gonna grab myself a teaspoon, raise it a little bit to the medium so that we start boiling just slightly, so I can get some water to taste, because you know the top one was oil, so you won't be able to taste that. So you need to over salt it, because the first taste you will taste it is a little bit sweet because of the raisins, because of the carrots. There's two things that makes it sweet.
Good.
A little bit more, just slightly. So again, palm, just a little bit slightly. Just as the way we want it. That's all right. All we do is taste it out a little bit of it again. Excellent. Pinche perfect. Exactly. That's what we want. Okay, the very next step, what we have to do is, you know, hypothetically speaking, you're saying this rice is clean and you're ready to cook. Maybe. But maybe not. Let me prove you wrong on this one, because realistically, rices always have that powder. And if you put some rice into the water, 5 minutes later, all you can see is just glued into itself. So it basically looks like a little bash, just like that, as you can see it. And it's getting harder and harder. And what we're talking about, this is a powder. So what we do is we're washing the rice, and as you can see it, this is your powder coming out of your rice. Look at the water. I've seen the rice in the water. That means the rice is ready. No matter how much you're gonna wash this, no matter how much what you're gonna do, as long as you don't see a white milky, you know, powder in it, it's just you're gonna see that little kind of, you know, same color as the rice, because basically you're gonna have to spend about 5 to 6 days to clean it all up. That's how rice it is. I would say 5 to 6 days. I just make that up, so don't worry about it the most. But rice is clean, rice is dry. Like, take the water out of it completely. There we go. Our rice is ready. Let's wait for a little bit for the water for a mild minute, and prepare ourselves to add the rice. So, all right. So what we're doing right now, we're gonna prepare the rice. As you can see it, our hot water is almost ready. So we are ready to add the rice. Don't forget to put a salt in it, honestly. What I do, I put them in the medium. So let me put that back where my marker line is, so that my rice will not boil right in. And I'm doing that a little bit gently. Slightly gently all the way around, to create a kind of cap. A cap, equal layer over the everything. And honestly, this is one of the main parts that you will do it. And don't forget, there's no such a thing as a timing, you know, for this cooking. As long as you just have a sense of, you know, just looking into it and say, pay attention what it looks like it, so that way you will not overburn, undercook. So basically, when you have the skills like that, I mean, just a little slightly, you don't have to be a professional cooker to make this food. And don't get me wrong, I failed with this simple recipe, with this simple cooking, with this simple dish, I failed few times, more than few times actually. And what I was trying to do is I tried to impress everybody surrounding me, my father, my girlfriend, and everybody else's, my wife. And you know, sometimes it doesn't work when you try to impress someone. With that being said, is try to impress yourself. What you can do for yourself, not for somebody else. But cooking for your friends with a little bit of enjoyment. That's what I do. That's what the men do in our country. They're enjoying what we do on this time is to add a little bit more water, because it's not enough water and it will become dry. So dry that rice will suck all the water out of it, and everything becomes so dry and will become, you know, not really tasty. You will see, you will know what I'm talking about if you just don't put enough water in it. I'll take myself, I usually use a fork, short-handed. Do not never use all the way. If you're poking it, don't even try to poke that all the way to the bottom, for the reason because you will burn it. That bottom hot will come out, it will burn everything. So what you do is just a little poking through the layer of rice, and as you can see, some of where I'm poking, the water's coming out, it's all surrounded. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna wait just a little bit slightly while we can see the whole entire rice will be without water, the top layer. Okay. You can see the water is almost gone from the top. So what I do, I poke it just a little bit with my clean fork. So that way I can see how hot it is. Break it loose a little bit. A lot of steam is coming out. I mean, I can see it. It's going through everywhere right now. And I want to see how deep the water is. So far, it's not as deep. So basically, what I do, I'm looking around. That's water doesn't show about yay much. So everything is basically out of it. I don't see no water. So what I usually do is put everything out beautifully in a cone shape, right in the middle, right off to the edges, for the one good reason, so that way the rice will not gonna get stuck or burned by the edges. Okay, so what I do is next, of course, wash the garlic, and I will put just right here. Anybody try the steamed one? Steamed garlic? Sometimes some people says it tastes so good, but this one is not only steam, it's actually with the juice. It will steam with the juice. It doesn't steam with the water. It's just gonna take all the entire flavor right into the garlic, and garlic smell will be just basically gone at the end. So it's coning shape, garlic is in. Again, I'm taking my clean fork handle, short-handed basically. What I do is I'm making a little holes in the rice throughout the rice, but make sure when you do that, never ever touch the bottom, because you will burn the meat on the bottom, you will burn the carrots and everything else. Make those little holes so that way the air will go through equally. And please show that on the camera. You remember that I put the mark where it needs to be on those bubbles? That's where I want to put it. That's really where I want to put it. That's the steam that I want to have. Now we are closing a lid, timer. With this setup for this rice, it takes from 20 to 30 minutes to cook. So with this setup, what I will do, because it's cast iron and it does have enough heat, what I will do, I put 25 minutes, right between 20 and 30. And it's as long as it's on the 4, a little bit between, whatever, but I'm saying just as long as it's here, my timer will be just perfect at 25 minutes. So, when I've been set, After 25 minutes, we will see the result. And you will not gonna be disappointed.
Sure.
It's already started. Okay, time is an end. So 25 minutes is over, as usual. That's on the floor. And look at this.
Oh yeah.
Look at this. And as you can see, that anybody just trying to say that, oh no, garlic is gonna go down or anything else like that or separate itself, I will prove you wrong. It's steamed in. And nice and beautiful, and it's so soft inside that they have like basically its own juice. It's steamed in its own juice. It's beautiful and it's tasty. And like you see, it sits as a one piece. We took that out. Look at the rice. Look at the rice. It doesn't really stick together, and as you can see it.
Yep.
Look, it's just stem.
Totally separate from each other.
Exactly. Whatever you do, look.
Yep.
That's what's beauty about it. It's gonna have to be separated.
Just to give you an idea, same thing if you got like one bunch of Skittles candies, you know, they never stick to each other. Same thing. See?
Unless you put the water in it.
Yeah.
But right here, what I will do is I will start mixing. Of course, I will shut it off. And look at this.
You go into the bottom up, bottom up.
Exactly. What I'm going to do is stir everything from bottom up. And you can see, there's no burns.
Yep.
Carrot, at some point, it sticks together. I mean, there's no mash. You don't see no red mash around it because it will be some kind of, I would say, mess. But this beauty right here, that's what I was talking about. The meat is so tender that bones will separate itself from the meat. The only way you're gonna know that meat is really, really ready, it's when you can see that meat is falling off the bones.
Yep.
And it's still soft. There's no dryness in this. So you will not gonna eat the dry, tasteless meat.
It's juicy. It's got juice inside.
Exactly. So the meat takes the juice, rice will take the juice, and look at this.
And trust me, guys, if you're gonna follow directions, like Tim told you in this video, don't worry. Maybe first time it's not gonna be perfect. Second time, but that time when you make it perfect, let's say third time, I promise you will fall in love with that plov. I promise.
Even though, when you even start the very first time to do this, the very, very first time, I'm telling you right now, if you do that with your own heart, you don't have to rush about it, no cell phones. I mean, just enjoying a day.
Yeah,
and
if
you're gonna cook for the loved ones, okay, for your friends, family, I mean, don't get me wrong, you will love all this. I mean, honestly, it will taste so good that everybody's gonna say, "Wow!" You can say your name, Jim, Bill, you name it. He's doing a very good job and he's a very good cook. Even though you never tried it before and this is your very first time. So let's put all this on the plate. Shut it off. As always, we're gonna, what we're gonna do is for you guys is we're gonna separate it and put it beautifully on the plate.
If you like the video, please give us thumbs up. Like it. If you don't like, I guess thumbs
Give
down.
us a thumbs down. It's up to you guys. And
Leave the comments. If you have any questions, ask questions. We'll be responding in a really, really good timely manner.
thank you for watching, our presentation of how to make a plov. And I know it's the very first time for us, and hopefully we'll be going far forward and we're looking to keep cooking. I mean, honestly, we can cook Central Asian food, Uzbek, Russian. I mean, anybody who's interested on some type of food that you really prefer, please leave a comment and ask what you want us to do next and what to cook next for you guys. And yes, we do have a little bit of a language barrier, but you know what? We work through it, and our food will be on your table, and you will be just amazed how simple and easy it is and tastes such a good. Have fun, guys. Bye.